Mm, Hello. Alrighty there. Let's do another popular last outright video. This time talking about the return of the Primarchs. If, when, where, who, and why. Why am I doing this video? It's simple. People ask me to. Why? Because it seems to be popular now to discuss which Primarchs are coming back. And so I will. I'm not going to call them predictions. Opinions about this vary wildly compared to the other videos out there I've been asked to watch. So I'm going to say this first as a preface. Games Workshop is rebooting 40k. This is an idea that people can't seem to wrap their brains around. 10th edition is going to be something new. Okay? 40k is not going to remain grimdark. It's going to be marketed to mainstream science fiction. This is the goal of 40k. I think that is abundantly clear. Therefore, when making any predictions about future events, this should be the perspective any predictions are made from. And that is the perspective I take. So, first of all, the Lion and Engron are obvious in their connection. Some people are saying they don't see why they're connected in the lore at all. Who gives a shit about the lore? Let's think about the future. In the future, Lion, L. Johnson, spent his time hunting chaos beasts on Caliban. That was his purpose. Angron is the chaos beast to end all chaos beasts. Obvious connection. And the Lion would return to hunt the ultimate chaos beast. How people can't see that? No comment. Next, the Imperium is being rebuilt. The Imperium is order and stability and humanity. Thusly, if GW were to continue resurrecting Primarchs, they would synergize with these goals. Guilliman, being the ultimate government administrator, is the first. Plus, he's also sitting right there. You know what I mean? He just has to literally stand up. So, questionably the easiest. Second, is Lion. But that's specifically to counter this event that is going on. So the next returns, I believe, are going to be connected to future events, not to some fixed timeline. And of course, how can we know what those future events are, or even if the dates of those future events are fixed, is absurd. So I will simply attach Primarchs to different events that I see coming in the future, in whatever order they happen. Imperium Nihilus will be recovered, and it will need to be rebuilt. I think it's obviously horribly maimed, and it will need somebody, and it will basically be an Imperium of refugees, in a sense, because of all the damage that will have been done to those worlds. In that case, I cannot think of a better Primarch to take care of human refugees and rebuild destroyed human settlements with the idea of compassion towards humans and defending them during this rebuilding process than Vulkan. Okay, so you'll have Guilliman in charge on, the normal Imperial side. And if you need somebody to be in the dark, and working with the refugees and tortured humanities during the chaos reign in those places, Vulkan would be perfect for that, in my opinion. Then you'll have also this kind of yin-yang effect on, you see what I mean? The optics for the two sides of the Imperium. Guilliman on one side, and Vulkan on the other side, and the rift in between. After that, I'm going to get very theoretical here. A lot of this just fits into my 40k universe. Yes, I have my 40k universe because 40k is an RPG, which you were allowed and even encouraged to create your vision of the 40k world into it, which I have done for something on 25 plus years. Therefore, I definitely have in my head my 40k universe. And in my 40k universe, taking leads from GW on how the universe is developing, I would see two major connections need to be developed next. One is the Eldar. They obviously have to be brought into 10th edition, and they have to be brought in with the forces of order and somehow be connected to the Imperium in a canon acceptable way. They can't. Even Guilliman can't really talk to them, and the Imperium is not known for liking Xenos. So, and of course, the Eldar is not known for talking to humans very well. Thusly, the best way to forge an alliance between the Imperium and the Eldar and the Drukhari is the Khan. I see him in my universe as having lived with the Harlequin in the Webway for the last 10,000 years. This would be a fantastic backstory for him. Think about it. 10,000 years of him being adopted by the Harlequin, almost as a representative of the Emperor in their grand story. That's what they do. They tell this great story of the Eldar, and they all have characters to represent everybody. So imagine then that the Khan would be the logical choice to represent the Emperor in the Harlequin's story. Fighting chaos, obviously, and possibly the future story of the connection between the Eldar and the Emperor, with the resurrection of Guilliman and all of these things happening and the rift. I could see him as having been adopted by a Harlequin troop and spending the last 10,000 years going very fast. He would also enjoy killing Drukhari and any chance he gets, and being in the Webway would give him the chance to do that too. So in an event where the new codex or rules for the Eldar and Drukhari are released, and some type of event will be necessary, then the Khan can be resurrected for that. I don't know who his opponent would be, but that's how I see him returning. Next is, and this is a stretch, but it's a good stretch because has so much symmetry. One of the big problems that 40k is going to have in mainstreaming Warhammer is the Inquisition. They need the Imperium to be good, and there is just no easy way to paint the Inquisition as something positive to mainstream society. I thought about that for a while, and in my world, I came up with the answer of Alpharius. Think about this for a second. What if Alpharius had been or is the secret, I'm not going to say head, but I say secretly guiding and the Inquisition for the last 5,000 years or something like that. He's out there, Alpharius, oh my God, maybe they're walking both sides. I don't know. But could you imagine that all of the secretive organizations, the Inquisition, the Officio Assassinorum, all of those things, he's out there pulling the strings of the puppet masters who are pulling the strings of others, guiding them towards humanity's greatest enemies as an act of repentance for siding with the conclave during the heresy. I mean, if anybody is happy spending 10,000 years in the shadows as a secret spy master, it's Alpharius Omegon. And he can somehow redeem the Inquisition. He could then kind of bring it into line with the with accepting the return of the Primarchs. He also has connections to the Conclave. He also has connections to this organization of perpetuals that we know running out there, John Grammaticus and others, because they were agents sent to bring him into the Conclave, so he knows about them. So that gives him a storyline connection to these organizations and individuals, which there is no indication that they have been, retconned. I believe John Grammaticus is still there, and he personally knows Alpharius, and he personally knows the Conclave, and they could all go back and work together with, shaping the Inquisition into something more palatable for mainstream viewers. Suddenly now, instead of just being a group of radical and fanatical zealots, they have their spy master to kind of redeem them. That would be very cool. Anyways, that's what I've done in my world. And he's a force of order. He was never really a force of chaos or a destroyer. He was always on the side of order and bringing order. And he has then another connection to the Eldar as well. He also has a copy of the full Primarch project. Let's not forget that. He has the full Primarch project, which he stole from Corax. So if you have any questions on how to bring back Sanguinius or Ferrus Manus or even create new ones, he has the full step-by-step instructions on how to create a Primarch for the last 10,000 years. Fabius Bile was able to create clones from a corrupted copy of this data. So if Fabius Bile could create clones from a corrupted copy, what could Alpharius, working with the Conclave, do with the real uncorrupted data? Answer: anything Games Workshop wants him to do with it. And I believe they will use that. He's not even a mystery. He's not gone. He's not MAA. He's not anything like that. We know exactly what happened with Alpharius. He's with the Conclave. As far as I know, nothing has changed. Next is, people keep on mentioning Russ. And in my opinion, Russ is the least important of the Primarchs for 3 reasons. One, he represents old, grimdark 40k. He is everything that 40k is moving away from right now. Just mindless violence. And he doesn't represent order. He's not a builder. He's not a stabilizing influence. He isn't even really a loyalist. He was responsible for the destruction of Prospero after being duped by Horus, the perceived destruction of Magnus, who also wasn't really a traitor also at that time. He refused to follow orders from the Emperor or from the Sigilate, Malcador, who asked him to stay for the defense of Terra and instead ran off on his own to try to confront Horus in a mano-a-mano battle. I don't see anything really positive about his character in terms of the rebuilding of a stable Imperium. So I don't see why he would be high on the list. What would he really offer to the rebuilding of the Imperium right now? We have Lion as a hunting of beasts, and he's a builder, and he's a champion of order. So if they wanted to have somebody hunting beasts, they could have brought back Russ to hunt Angron and other demon Primarchs, but they didn't. They did the Lion instead. So that is a strong message to me, and having been a game developer for years, I perceive this not as a fanboy, but as a game developer. That would be the logic of why the Lion came back instead of Russ. 2, Russ equals Russian. Bad timing to bring back a Russian Primarch right now. So yeah, and like I said, he's not a builder. He offers nothing to rebuilding. He would just be an executioner, right? That's his job. Executing who or what? I mean, that's not the direction they're going in right now. So he would be low on the list for coming back. That is how I see it in terms of priority. Corax, of course. He's a builder. He's been, I think, to intergalactic space. That gives him connection possibly with the Silent King. It also gives him connection with the Tyranid storyline, since both are intergalactic entities. He created his own form of Primaris Space Marines, so that could tie him into the future of the Primaris line, since he directly has knowledge of how to create a gene seed. And as far as I know, the only Primarch with that. So that connects him with Call and with the Primaris and with Necrons and with Tyranid. And he's connected with humanity, as he is known to be one of the more compassionate, thoughtful Primarchs. So he is also a builder and leads to creating a better humanity and more stable Imperium. So he is definitely high on the list of somebody coming back with some event, probably tied with Necrons or Tyranids or Primaris. That is, I don't know if I'm going to call it order, but definitely a priority of how I see the Primarchs coming back. Until next time, bye.